we talked a little bit about the practice of self-love, and then you also have the ritual or of the symbolic ritual of Sologamy. What does it look like, and how are people impacted by it?
So what's going to happen is that my intent is I'm asking everybody to bring white outfit of some kind, whatever their choice is, and to bring that symbolic object. And during the course of the retreat, they will be writing vows to themselves. That we will have workshops on that and how to make promises that are meaningful to you, not to everybody else, but these are vows that you're going to keep for yourself. And we will go through a nice ceremony, very much like a wedding ceremony, just coming through it, and people will have a chance to share their vows, give themselves their stone, their crystal, their ring, their necklace, whatever it is they chose for themselves that they will keep forever as a reminder of the ceremony that we had that day. For those who choose to go on and want to be able to tell the world that this is what they've done, they will also have the option of having a Sologamy ceremony at the church.
Nice.
And they can do it that weekend. They can pick another day where they want to plan people to come. We'll make it work. And it will be a beautiful ceremony with their close friends and family
Yeah.
in a beautiful parish.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. How do people respond when a woman comes forward, friends, family, even husbands or whatever, come forward and say, I'm going to do this Sologamy ceremony. Will you come?
It's surprising. If you have the right people in your life, I actually have one woman who said, my friend said it's about time.
Oh,
It's about time. It's about time you started to figure out who you were, what you needed. And yes, we're going to celebrate the new you with you.
oh, that's awesome. How do you express your self-worth? How do you listen to yourself? How do you love yourself? And what makes you feel complete in terms of relationship? And do you feel like your happiness is hinged on another person? Hello and welcome to Angelscapes, and I'm your host, Nancy Smith, your guide to living a soul-powered life. You're invited to my Facebook group, Soul Power Living, where we can continue discussions. You can ask questions started in these podcast groups or anything that you may have on your mind. Joining me in this episode is Reverend Yvonne Andrews. She's an interfaith minister. Yvonne discusses self-love and the Sologamy ceremony. I'm still tripping over it. The symbolic act of marrying yourself. The core philosophy is about independence. Individuals do not need a romantic partner to feel complete and healed. And it's about reclaiming your self-worth and making a commitment to being solely responsible for your own joy, pledging not to settle for less than you deserve. And so welcome, Yvonne. So glad to have you back. You were with us at last January, and I'm really thrilled to have you back now.
It's great to be back. It seems like it was so long ago.
It really does. Almost, yeah, it's a whole new world
Yeah,
right now.
exactly.
But I would like to talk a little bit.
Sure.
I tripped over the word Sologamy. Where this is really about people, and in particular, you focus on women focusing on themselves as a complete person, as a complete whole, not somebody waiting for their second half to show up. And what does Sologamy teach us? What is that about?
Yeah, so long when we start thinking about putting yourself first, the first thing we think about is self-care. Self-care is so important. It's the massages, it's the nail appointment, it's the telling yourself, I can do nothing for a short period of time. I can do all of these things to take care of me. But self-love differs slightly. Self-love is about setting your boundaries. It's about honoring who you are and what your needs are. And it's making a commitment to yourself
Yeah.
for the rest of your life as being an important, worthy person and being able to choose to put yourself first. Not in a way that people think in a selfish way. It just means that if you need something, you're going to honor that. If
Okay.
you can't attend something, you're not going to go, unless you absolutely have to. So it's honoring yourself and how to juggle that and how to make it about you as much as it is about whomever else that you're going someplace with. And it just the most important thing is make it a lifelong commitment because the trouble is we don't normalize healing. We don't normalize self-love. We end up just saying, "Oh, they're being selfish, they're taking time for themselves," or we feel ourselves like, "I need some space, but I really need to do all these 400 different things."
I know, like you said, give yourself permission to have time off. It's okay to do nothing. And I'm like, what?
Right,
I
right,
can multitask when I'm doing nothing. What?
because we honor busy, we don't
Yeah.
honor downtime, and during this time for the retreat that's coming up, we will build a community that normalizes each other's healing, that normalizes honoring our self-worth, that reduces the shame that we feel around taking that time.
Yeah,
If
it's so true.
hopefully we'll create a collective of empowerment and a community that comes together and hopefully a community that comes together and stays connected going forward.
Now, you said you having a retreat. Tell me when tell us all, when is this coming up? And
Yeah. It's coming up Labor Day weekend. It's going to be Thursday afternoon, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and then a half a day on Sunday, with the hopes that everybody can make it home, get to those barbecues, do those things that they need to do as part of the end of summer ceremonies, and
yeah,
or just go home and flop on the bed and do nothing, whatever that
yeah.
thing is, and get ready for the week ahead.
Your holiday Labor Day weekend could be going to this very relaxing Sologamy
Right.
retreat about loving yourself. This is a woman's retreat, correct? Just yeah. And I asked this all important question: is this just for single women? And you said no. A lot of married women come. And why would a married woman or a woman in a committed relationship want to come to something that talks about just her commitment to herself? Sounds a little bit anti, what is it? Anti-productive or and and it's not aligned with being in a relationship to another person. How does it?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it doesn't feel natural, but again, that's how we normalize things. And a lot of the women that come to me have been lost in their family life. They have been a caretaker for as long as they can remember. They've taken care of other people at home. They've taken care of people, maybe they're nurses, maybe they're teachers. They're providing some type of service somewhere.
Mhm.
They're taking care of the pets. They're taking care of the house. They're taking care of their friends, sick relatives, whatever that is. But they're not taking care of them.
Mhm.
And when they come to me, a lot of times they don't know who they are.
Okay.
I've asked for many women, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? What could you spend a whole day
What are you
doing and be
doing?
so excited about it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you answer those, Yvonne? What are your hobbies? What do you do that's not working?
Hmm. Right.
Can you answer that too?
Yeah. It's
As
it's
an
not it's
as
not
an
work.
entrepreneur, we think everything goes into our business or everything goes into our work for our people that we're serving.
Hmm.
Um, and I caught you shopping at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And entrepreneurs especially because we think that we need to work 80 hours a week. But
right.
what I've learned over time is that if you keep going, 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 the quality of your work goes down.
Yeah, yeah.
And that if you allow yourself that time to rest and take care of yourself and take a deep breath and let that tension go, you can approach that same task and do it in a quarter of the time.
That is a good point. That is a good point. I kind of try to tell myself, just get your sleep or get your rest or take a break from this. This is you're working too hard at this. There's got to be a reason why it's not coming to a closure. Take a break. I keep telling myself I'm the worst boss I've ever had. But in this retreat, it sounds like it's good for a lot of women who have a lot of issues around committing to themselves, enjoying themselves, being happy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of women who are very unhappy, very crabby, very pushy, and just can't seem to settle down. And I would bet at the core of that is the taking the time to love themselves, nurture themselves, care for themselves, and feel safe doing that, giving themselves permission. It's okay. It's okay. You're not gonna fall apart if you're not holding up the world. You're not Atlas holding up the
Right.
world on your shoulders.
Right. You know, and the reality is that nobody, male, female, it doesn't matter, can do everything all of the time
Yeah.
without affecting them. And unfortunately, people who don't take that time to honor their self-worth, to, spiral their healing, to take that break in a retreat or a yoga class or something that they would like to do, they're going to end up getting sick.
Yeah.
And whether it's the flu or something a little more substantial, all that time is lost anyway.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. You know, I'm not.
Well,
I'm talking about women. I'm asking a question that's really kind of a woman question, but I think it could also be applied to as a person question. But we all go through life having traumas or having things that teach us from a negative point of view, and so we are going to hit it hard with, "I'm going to solve this by this. I'm going to solve it," and it causes us to step into more and more stressful, more and more demanding lifestyles, and we can't relax even when it's time to go to bed. And I feel like, do you think that your group, your Sologamy, can address that? Because how can you make it safe so that you can enjoy your life, you can relax?
yes, we will be working with somatic emotional mapping, finding out where our trauma and our tension is located and the causes of it. We're going to work with some Kundalini yoga. We're going to work with other types of Thai yoga expression. We are going to get rid of this.
Wow.
We're going to just send it off into the universe. We don't need it anymore. We're also going to work on actually what's called sleep hygiene.
Oh.
Sleep hygiene is because when we go to bed and we lay down, and we're all so tired, we're going to sleep, and then all of a sudden, all of these things come flooding forward. It's the 105 things that you told yourself you were supposed to do. It's the
Hmm.
fact that you forgot the loaf of bread and now you can't make sandwiches in the morning.
Yeah.
It's all these things. And our brain chatters. It's reminding us of all the mistakes. Very rarely does our mind remind us of all the good things that we've done.
No, it's our minds are kind of on alert to make sure that if the bad things happen, you're ready to meet it and greet it, and which is, I
Yeah,
think, normal part of living, but also it's sometimes I heard somebody say this, we're afraid of missing the loaf of bread as if a tiger was going to eat us.
right,
So the priorities get confused. So the energetic or the emotional level priorities in ourselves get
right,
confused.
right.
And it
The
takes a
sleep
toll on us.
hygiene helps you get into a routine that actually helps your mind settle
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
that when you do finally go to bed,
Mhm.
it's a peaceful slumber.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like that.
Because you're much better off getting up just a little bit early and taking care of anything that was hugely important that you might have
Yeah.
forgotten. And not because hanging on to it at night means you're going into the next day at not 100%. You might be going in at 70, sometimes even 50, depending on how exhausted you are.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. I went to this workshop. I was studying self-publishing. To be a productive and successful self-publisher. And they were saying, you gotta get up at 5 in the morning, you gotta put that writing time, you gotta do all that extra stuff to make sure that you're committed, and then you do your regular day, then you go to the gym, and I tried it for a couple of weeks, and I was so darn tired that
Yeah.
I couldn't write a darn thing. So I had to figure how to, do this wonderful thing that I'm excited about and want to be successful at, and still be healthy and standing on both my feet, and not be horribly sick. That year that I tried to do that, I had the flu 3 times. And what I'm asking you, I'm putting this into a question, is the idea of being successful and working really hard, I feel misses the boat. Is accurate. Of course, you need to put in extra time and stuff, but what's missing? You know what I mean? What would you put in as
What's missing is your self-worth, your self-confidence, your self-love. It's instead of looking at what's not being done, looking at what is being done,
yeah.
what have you accomplished, and also being honest with yourself. How much of this really needs to be done? How much of this is in alignment of where I'm going?
Yeah.
We're great at list makers. And then
Oh,
all of a
yeah.
sudden we feel that list is a contract with the universe and we need to get this done.
No, I didn't do this was. Oh my God, the tiger's going to eat me, and we can't sleep. Yeah. Um, how do you make the correlation between? And I'm going to go back to Sologamy because this is where we
Mhm.
started. The correlation between being successful, working hard, and loving yourself. That bridge seems, especially for women, seems like across a huge ravine. And what are the first couple of steps you advise women to do?
Well, when being successful means that you're able to balance work, that you're able to be 100% when you are working. But it also means understanding what your needs are, is understanding that you need to rest and to do that without guilt. It takes you out of survival mode and shifts you into a more sustainable productivity.
Hmm.
It honors the person you are and what you can do. And like a lot of times that we have burnout and a lot of times that we're in hyperdrive is because we have self-doubt and we have to do it better because we don't think we're doing it good enough.
Right.
So it's honoring our expertise and trusting ourselves to run this business, to provide this lecture, to be able to answer this question with 100% confidence.
Yeah, or to be the good mother, or to be the grandmother and the working person. And a working mother is such a difficult place to be. I feel like I see women who were working mothers, and their kids are growing, and they're grown, and then the college thing, oh my God, and the grandkids come, and there's still this exhaustion with these women who have tried so hard to be the best mothers and the best provide they're providing money to pay bills along with their husbands, and there's a burnout that's happened in women 50s going into 60s. And I'd like to talk about how let's the sologamy, the recognizing yourself first, could help that burnout,
Mhm.
especially for those who are the working mothers, right now.
So I think moms and grandmothers and anybody who is responsible for a group of people, I think instead of having to do everything all the time for everything you have to do, every child has to have everything, the
Yeah.
best of everything, all the activities, all these things, and understanding that it really isn't about quantity; it's about the quality.
Okay.
And being able to knock some of the things off of that list and spending an hour of quality time with someone
Hmm.
is far better than spending an entire day with someone when you're exhausted.
Yeah. Good point. Good
Mm.
point. And the um in the commitment to the self, the disappointment of I haven't reached my goal, or I haven't reached the thing. Um, I have not reached a good relationship with my children. I have not reached that success in my job because I'm just things have gotten in my way, or they just haven't gone my way. And how the kids are crabby, and they're teenagers, and they're disrespecting me, and they want to find their own way. And I've worked so hard, and I love them so much. Let's talk about how sologamy can help you reframe that.
So let's focus on the things that you have done, not the things that you have not. Let's talk about how do you feel about yourself. Ask yourself if you said the things to your close friend that you were telling yourself, would you still have a close friend? Or would they walk out of your life?
Yeah, that's true. How many women walk out of their own lives? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep,
Um,
they do.
they give up on themselves, and they just coast.
Yeah, and they just become that chameleon. They become that chameleon that morphed into what everybody else wants for them. And these are the women, when I talk to them, they're the ones that they don't know who they are. Where
Yeah.
are you going? What do you want? What do you enjoy? When was the last time you laughed? Do you remember? When was the last time you came from an event, whatever it was? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter, big or small.
Yeah.
And you said, gee, I had a good time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, the couple questions here I wanted to folk. What breakthrough do women often experience during, you mentioned somatic exercises, during somatic emotional mappings at retreats? It sounds like that's something that you're going to do during this retreat coming up.
Right.
What kind of breakthroughs do they experience? Have you seen, I
So
guess?
the breakthrough is seeing the truth,
Hmm.
understanding what exactly is going on, why they feel the way they do,
Hmm.
understanding where it's been sitting in their body and how it expresses their past experiences. It reveals the old stories. It reveals the old grief and it holds the truth that has been silenced. So they've never been able to speak their truth. And then all of a sudden it comes up, and it comes up with tears. It comes up with,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of anxiety. But once those tensions and patterns start to leave the body, your breathing changes, your posture is more relaxed, and the chronic pain starts to subside.
Mhm.
And it's finally realizing that I've been ignoring me.
Mm,
You
that
know,
is
the life I'm
bittersweet.
living is not my
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's emotional, and there's a lot of healing. There's a lot of journaling. There's a lot of just even sitting in silence so people can
Mm,
just have that moment
mm,
to think.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things and one of the scariest things is having that breakthrough, that emotional release, and that clarity about your life directions,
Hmm.
forgiving yourself,
Ah,
reconnecting with your sensuality, your renewed sense of inner safety. It's almost like coming home to yourself.
I bet it is. I bet it is. And I guess my question is, once we leave the workshop, um, and we are back into our jobs or we're back into our roles in our family or our community, what role does community play in a self-love journey that seems individual? How can the community help you, but how does the community sabotage you?
Well, the biggest thing is not when you finish a retreat. I don't take the people and say, okay, there you go, you know, because it's a lot altogether and they're not going to remember exactly what happened. And they take home a nice size workbook that has everything written out that we did
Oh,
do
good.
so
Yeah.
that they can go back to it. I encourage they get a nice journal that they can
Mhm.
continue mapping their experiences. And then there's a follow-up. There's a 30-day follow-up, and then they can decide when they want the next follow-up as a group.
Okay. Oh, isn't that
Just a
nice?
chance to recheck in. And they have the option of texting or calling and saying, "Hey, Yvonne, can we just have a few minutes to talk?"
I love
Or,
that.
"Gee, I would love a private appointment. Can we just spend some time?"
So they're not alone.
They're
Once
not
you
alone.
stepped into a relationship or a workshop with Yvonne Andrews, you're in relationship. That's
You're in a relationship, so,
yeah.
3 years from now when you say, "What was that thing that we did?" You
He's like,
can still text me, and I will know. I'll pull up everything, and we'll walk it through.
yeah, beautiful. Um, you gave me a list of questions that I'm kind of working through. So there was, how can women maintain self-love after the retreats? We talked a teeny tiny bit about it. What does it look like to embody self-love in everyday life? But also, what when I kind of went in sologamy into the Google and it talked about the negative aspects. Some people see it as just a
Oh, yeah.
narcissistic practice, and um, and I have to say that came from a societal judgmental thing. But what does self-love look like in your work life? And how does self-love change the way you handle stress at work? And how does self-love impact leadership?
Mhm. Self-love in your workplace shows itself as self-confidence. It means that you're able to lead, you have clarity, you're not second guessing your decisions because we
Mhm.
always have a lot of self-doubt that kind of runs in there. You know, it means that we're able to set healthy boundaries.
Yeah,
Saying to your boss, thank you for thinking of me for this assignment, but currently I have A, B, C, D to do. And, could you let me know which one is a priority for you?
absolutely. Yeah.
Instead of, I'm working with somebody now who's honestly, her boss keeps piling on stuff. And then every time I call her to meet, she's working until 2 o'clock in the morning to complete projects well off the clock. There is no psychological safety in there because she's she's not protecting anything. But
Oh,
yet she's
poor
afraid
thing.
to speak up, and that's what we're
Yeah.
working on.
Working on speaking up. Yeah. Or the boss that comes in at 4:30 and says, "Hey, I got this thing. Oh, is that good for tomorrow? No, can you get it done today?"
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't. I got a kid to pick up. Do you know I have this story? I was a single mom, and it was Christmas Eve, and my boss was single with no kids, and I'm trying to get out. Everyone's left early, and I'm trying to get out of there because I want to pick up that one last toy because I want to get it under the tree. And she came up to me and wouldn't let me leave, and talked and talked, and I didn't have the nerve to say, I have to go pick up that toy for my kids to have it under the tree. She couldn't relate to that at all. And the fallout for me was that toy was not under the tree for Christmas, and my heart was broken, and I was so angry with myself, and I felt so defeated, and the work that we were talking about never got resolved until January. So you know what I mean? That's the
Yeah.
story. I think that's just a typical story.
That's unrealistic expectations on your part. I think because we've never given enough, there's never enough gifts, there's never enough
Yeah.
food, there's never enough any of that stuff. And and also being able to say to that person, I tomorrow's Christmas, is this something that can wait?
Yeah. You're stuck at both ends. Both ends are squishing you into, but you're allowing it
Yeah.
because of the concept that I think comes with what you're talking about as self-love, which is boundaries and protection and creating safety around yourself. Um, so self-love, as you build the self-love, which many people call selfish and narcissistic, and then we have to move that right out of the our people have to move that out of their personal self-talk. How does self-love influence communication and relationships?
Having self-love means that you're recognizing what you need in addition to what the other person needs, setting your priorities, being able to regulate your emotions
Mhm.
and be able to say, I can't do that right now. Or, gee, could you help me with dinner? And that you don't have to do it all.
Yeah,
And sometimes we really think that we have to do it all, that
yeah,
we put so many demands on ourselves. And we stop accepting the little crumbs. Oh, but you cook so good.
but you're
You do such a
hungry.
great job with laundry. We
But
stop
it's your
accepting
turn. But
that.
I'm so tired. I worked so hard. Why can't you do it?
Yeah.
And so
And
many reasons.
you're setting your boundaries so that you end up with somebody or you work with the person you're with to match who you are, your emotional maturity, and just being able to both express what you need.
Yeah,
By allowing yourself to express
yeah.
what you need, you're also allowing them to express what they need as
Mhm.
well, instead of hiding it.
Exactly. Exactly. I like that. Because I hear a lot of stories about, well, I did it, and I did it again. I kept doing it, but he or she doesn't see that I'm doing it. They don't appreciate. Well, do you appreciate what you're doing? Or have you lost track of why you're doing what you're doing? Or is it automatic? Is it automated and you have an expectation? That's so many belief systems need recalibrating in
Right?
that. Absolutely. Self-love helps you recalibrate. I also feel like self-love keeps you on your side of the street
Yeah.
in a relationship. It's like if you're in that insecurity, I'm not so sure about it. You end up on the other person's side of the street trying to
Mhm.
fix it so that you could feel okay.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
feel okay to begin with, their antics are not your problem.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And
And going back to what you said, that when people think about self-love, they think about selfishness.
yeah,
And if you look at some of the religions who say, "Oh no, polygamy is so wrong," but even Jesus talks about it in the Bible.
oh, he does.
He does. There's a statement in there that clearly says, "Love thy neighbor as you love thyself."
Okay.
And there's many other passages too. In fact, if you talk about Google self-love in the Bible, you'll come up with all the passages that are in there.
And
And,
self-love is an inference when you love your neighbor as you love yourself. The inference is that you do love yourself. And do you ever find that people who don't know how to love yourself love
oh,
themselves? They're really messed up as neighbors. It's just,
right, and that's the point that I continue on. In fact, I actually preached about it in church a couple months ago. Was that with all the acts of violence, the ridiculous violence that we see that has no reason, somebody knocks on somebody's doors and they get shot just because they're coming to ask for directions or use the phone. This is all about loving yourself. This is all about when people don't love themselves, when they literally do not like themselves, they
mm,
don't have what they need to find positives in
yeah,
anyone. So now they begin to classify everyone as hateful and angry and dangerous.
yes,
Mm.
yes, yeah,
But if we could see the good in ourselves, if we could value ourselves, then we can value another human being. And
absolutely.
I really believe that if people could take the time to dig inside, that violence would go down.
Yeah, but because that's one of the things that you've mentioned. We talked about, well, how does self-love affect conflict resolution?
Yeah,
Hugely,
yeah,
hugely.
hugely.
Yeah,
If I hate myself, then I hate everybody. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely,
And the
absolutely.
trouble is when you hate yourself, you stop blaming everybody
Yeah,
for what's wrong with you.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Now, in relationships with friendships or relationships with jobs or relationships with whomever. And we have a situation, let's just talk about a friendship or a relationship in a community. If you do this for me, if you can try this, it'll be wonderful if you do this. And that person who's being looked at does this, this, and this, and this to create they think they're creating with another person for whatever it is, and a bake sale.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, the person doing all the baking feels less and less happy about it. And the person who's asking for all the baking feels less and less happy about it. I feel that the mix that's missing is that self love from that person who's been asking, who's been asked to do the favor, and then the person who's been asking for all the favors. I see this happen all the time in especially relationships between women
Yeah.
where something's missing. What would you say? What would you apply to that scenario? I'm sure you've
So-
seen it 1,000 times.
Oh yeah. There's all kinds of things missing. It's like, and it depends on which one. The person who is doing all the work, that's lack of self-worth. That's lack of setting boundaries. That's lack of the ability to be able to ask for help. Because sometimes you just simply, it's not that it's an impossible task, but it would be easier if somebody was working with you.
Yeah, yeah.
For the person who is demanding, it has two folds. First of all, it's their lack of self-love because they're just expressing their frustration and giving people work, or they're feeling overloaded themselves because they don't find any worth in what they're doing.
Mhm.
And they also don't have the self-confidence to do that baking in that instance for themselves.
Yeah.
If I get you to do it, it will be done better.
So what is the dynamics of if I get you to do it, you do better, and the other person saying, I really can't do 36 dozen of brownies. I can do maybe 15, and the other person is just there is I see a respect falling apart from the asker. They're no longer respecting the person they're asking things
Right.
from.
Right.
And the pushback, I would think, I'm making this up and I want you to correct me. The pushback would just say, if I set my boundaries with you, you will respect me and there'll be more, at least somebody's loving themselves. That the solution is the unfortunate pushback of no, we can't do 36 dozen cookies. We can do 16. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, is,
Because then you have to ask yourself, if I'm asking you to help or cut this down or to be some part of this and you just keep adding things and even though I'm trying to set my boundaries, you're obviously showing a disrespect for me,
Mhm.
then I have to ask myself, why am I hanging on to this relationship?
Well, that's a good question.
Hmm.
That I see a lot of women coming to realize that I can't sustain this relationship anymore. I can't do this anymore.
Right.
And they feel terrible. And then they judge themselves. Self-talk is like, well,
Yeah.
you couldn't just make the grade. And so therefore you're wrong. I'm wrong. I couldn't make the grade. And there's a dynamic that has nothing to do with love, has nothing to do with supporting, nurturing, or caring. And those are the relationships that are hard to sometimes identify because you can
Hmm.
be in the drama of it all. So Sologamy would say to you, who are you talking to? What would Sologamy, that concept of Sologamy, do in that situation? It's not a romantic relationship, but it's a relationship.
I mean, think about yourself. When you're 90 years old and you're sitting on a rocking chair on your porch and you're looking back at your life. Do you want to remember that you did nothing for yourself, but did everything for everybody else, and you lived life through everybody else? Or
Mm,
that you took time to do those things, big or small, that you
mm,
wanted to do?
exactly. And why not start now before and wait till, and not when you're 90? But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've had students who I ask every semester when I'm teaching, why are you in the major that you're in? And I have once had a student who said, well, my mom's a nurse, my sister's a nurse, my aunt's a nurse, and so is my grandmother. And the expectation was that she was going to become a nurse. It
Oh.
was the last thing in the world that she wanted.
Oh, she wanted something totally different, but couldn't say it.
Yeah, but she couldn't put it into words. And so we
Mm.
worked through that and she went home and she expressed that. And oddly enough, her family respected her enough to say, that's really wonderful. We're really glad you're going into something you're going to be passionate about.
She had no idea that that would be the reaction.
Right.
Was she making assumptions on her own and forcing
She made the
herself?
assumption on her own that that was the expectation, that everybody would be disappointed. So she was not living her life, she was living theirs.
Oh my gosh. Boy, that must have been one heck of a wake-up call.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but when she came back to school after school break, she was so relieved. I mean, she finished all her courses for the semester and then she revamped her major. But, those courses that she took that she felt, she no longer needed just became electives. So she didn't lose
Right.
anything. She just
Okay.
moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love hearing that. So self-love influenced a whole career decision.
Mm.
I mean, you could be in the middle of a job, of a very difficult job. So how could self-love influence, you're working a job, it's very demanding. Um, you have kids at home that you have to feed. There's all kinds of dynamics.
Yeah.
The workforce isn't, flexible.
Mhm.
How does self-love get you out of that corner?
When you're at work, one thing, have you ever had a job you hated?
Yeah. Did you?
The ones you drive up to the building and you're like, I really don't want to go in.
Yeah.
But you do, because you feel like you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And letting yourself and honoring yourself enough to ask yourself, is this what I want?
Right. Right.
And if it's not, why isn't it?
Yeah.
If it's okay, why is it? What's the pros and cons? It's
Right. Right.
something
Right.
you're passionate about, but you're finding some bumps in the log. Well, maybe it's the right career, but not the right environment.
Right. Right.
And, maybe you're not in a position to say, oh, gee, I quit. But are you in the position to give yourself permission to find a job that you really want?
Yeah. Can you use some of these skills, these self-love skills that you're teaching, the somatic and all the presencing,
Yeah.
find a way to, you can't get out of the job, you can't quit the job, you're really trying to find something new, but you're in the middle of it. Some of these skills, I feel, could you think they could be applicable and change your situation within the job itself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes you have to change the situation with the whole job itself, or just the way it's being done, being able to advocate for yourself.
Yeah, the way you approach it,
Yeah.
the way the I think the biggest thing I've seen people learn, women, is like, I'm not taking this personal. It's I'm here, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but it has nothing to do with me. It has, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna, do the best I can. And that's a huge step for many
Yeah, it could
people.
be simply, it's 5 o'clock, I'm punching out, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And be okay with that, not with, oh, can you stay an extra hour? I only have 1,500 more things for you to do. Why, because it causes stress, because all of a sudden now you're being torn by the demands that are coming from here. Whatever you had to do leaving the job. Now you're criticizing yourself. You're not good enough at the work. You're going to be a lousy parent because you're going to be late to daycare to pick up your kids, and supper's not going to be ready when everybody gets home. And yeah, then it turns into this negative pattern of that you, at the end of the day, you're exhausted. You try to go to sleep, and that's when you have all the chatter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we've all been in those shoes where there's the expectations that surround you aren't letting you be a winner, or aren't there's no reflection of success. There's no gratitude or thank you. It's just what are you going to do for me next? What's next? What's the next thing? But um one of the things that you mentioned, and I feel like this is such an important question, I really want to give time to talk about it, is how does self love affect your ability to receive love? I've said this to many of my mediumship students. In order to feel the love of God, you need to love yourself.
Yeah.
It's part of delivering the message. And I would love for you to go further into that. How does self love affect your ability to receive love?
If you don't love yourself, then you don't feel worthy of being loved. And every time someone offers you that, whether it be a spiritual
Mhm.
being or somebody in front of you, you don't feel that you deserve that.
Mhm.
So you will not allow yourself place to receive the message or the gesture or the companionship because you feel like this is uncomfortable. I don't deserve this, and need to back off and shut it down.
So you could block that love
Yeah.
just from just from the original thoughts of I don't deserve this. I haven't worked hard enough for this, or this can't be real. I don't even recognize what this is. So you assume, yeah,
Yeah. Because, if we don't feel comfortable with it, then we try to get out of it. Oh, we minimize it. Oh, thanks. That was sweet or whatever. Just we don't accept it.
right, right. Oh, I know we've all been in that situation where we've just given somebody some love. We've loved them up in whatever way we've loved them up, and the person didn't take it in. They didn't even acknowledge it. They didn't know that that's what you were giving because they couldn't recognize it. It's a painful place to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Has everybody ever given you a compliment that you felt uncomfortable
oh, absolutely.
accepting
Have
it?
you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same thing with love. It's like for whatever reason, we don't feel deserving of this.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So your self-love and all of the programs that you're teaching on how to unpack yourself and unpack how you block the love, and unpack how you talk to yourself. and change it. That's all self-love. I
Right.
feel that sometimes it gets lost. Like, what is this self-love stuff about? And if you talk to any regular guy, what is this self-love? It's about, if you care about yourself, you'll see that I'm a good person for you.
Yep,
But
yep, exactly. And when you feel that, when you have that self-love and your confidence is built, you feel more comfortable about giving love too. Because
exactly.
you're not as reluctant, because you're giving it and you understand that the other person will hopefully accept it. And if they do, it's not about you, it's about them.
Mhm.
But it doesn't mean you should stop, that you need to stop offering. Just keep going.
Yeah. I guess don't take the rejection personally. You just, or also don't make it a project. I'm just going to make this person realize that I love them. Just be you and care for yourself as you're in a relationship with somebody who doesn't know how to love themselves. Um, we all have those,
Yeah.
but the self-love, the consistent caring for yourself will walk you through
Mhm.
even the hardest tribulations of, when as our parents get older, some lots of conversations happening with people my age, your age, about caring for parents who struggled with self-love, struggled with all of this stuff, and now they're diminished capacity in their thinking, and they're falling apart. They're falling behind. They're falling to old patterns, old belief patterns,
Mhm.
and they can't see that their kids love them and are helping them as best they can. They only
Right.
see that they're being attacked or minimized or something like that, and they're really not. But and that's where you just gotta hang in there with and do the self-love workshops with Yvonne.
Mhm. Self-love means also giving yourself permission not to take home everybody else's stuff,
Yeah.
because you can't fix everybody. You can be that wonderful, genuine, authentic, fun-loving person that you are, but you don't need to be the collector of negative energy.
Yeah, because that's not self-love.
Yeah.
So what is a sologamy? Sologamy. I'm killing the word. Sologamy.
Sologamy. Sologamy.
Sologamy. Um, but we talked a little bit about the practice of self-love, and then you also have the ritual or of the symbolic ritual of sologamy. What does it look like, and how are people impacted by it?
So what's going to happen is that my intent is that I'm asking everybody to bring white outfit of some kind, whatever their choice is, and to bring that symbolic object. And during the course of the retreat, they will be writing vows to themselves. That we will have workshops on that and how to make promises that are meaningful to you, not to everybody else, but these are vows that you're going to keep for yourself. And we will go through a nice ceremony, very much like a wedding ceremony, just coming through it, and people will have a chance to share their vows, give themselves their stone, their crystal, their ring, their necklace, whatever it is they chose for themselves, that they will keep forever as a reminder of the ceremony that we had that day. For those who choose to go on and want to be able to tell the world that this is what they've done, they will also have the option of having a sologamy ceremony at the church.
Oh, nice.
And they can do it that weekend. They can pick another day where they want to plan people to come. We'll make it work. And it will be a beautiful ceremony with their
Oh,
close friends
that'd be
and
great.
family
Yeah,
in a beautiful parish.
yeah. I love that. I love that. Um, how do people respond when a woman comes forward, friends, family, even husbands or whatever come forward and say, "I'm going to do this sologamy ceremony. Will you come?" And
It's surprising if you have the right people in your life. Like, I actually have one woman who said, "My friend said it's about time."
oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's about time. It's about time you started to figure out who you were, what you needed. And yes, we're going to celebrate the new you with you.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Have you done any ceremonies with people in relationships with another person?
Mhm.
And how did that work? What did that look like? What took place?
Ceremonies are anything from big to small. The
Mhm.
vows, just like when I'm working with a couple who's marrying, the the whole ceremony we write together,
Mhm.
and whether it's candles, crystals, water, sands, but whatever that is. That some people do the sand ceremony, and they ask all of their friends to bring a different color sand,
Oh,
and then we have this beautiful clear base where they pour their sand in to honor the fact that they're blending into the person's life as an equal.
oh, I
And
love
that their base is able to go home with them, whatever they choose to do with it, but as a constant reminder of the relationships, the healthy relationships and boundaries that she has set with her friends and family.
okay. I love that. So she's standing tall and saying this is the relationship with myself,
Right.
and this is how it's gonna um flower out into all of you.
Yeah.
And that is beautiful. So she's really becoming strong unto herself. She's loving herself. This is who I am, and this is how I'm showing up. And
Yeah.
and it's strong. And I still want
Yeah.
you in my life. I still want to blend with you
Mhm.
as who I as I'm doing. And I want you also. I wonder if do people are they more supportive of that person or more understanding of the person saying, "Oh, I get that old behavior. That's your old behavior, honey. Let's go to the new one." But
Right. Right. Because the nice thing about having an audience when you do this is that people are constantly reminding you, remember, this is not you anymore. It's okay to be you. In fact, we love the new you.
yeah,
Mm.
it doesn't sounds like it doesn't. Nobody is shutting anybody out. That was the other criticism that I had read that you're just too self-focused. You're not allowing yourself to be in a relationship. And actually, what you're saying is the first relationship is yourself, which allows you to be more deeply connected to other people, more present for other
Yeah.
people.
More present. And be a healthy partner.
Yeah,
In fact, I find that relationships become much stronger after one of them or both of them decide to make a commitment to themselves.
I love that. I love that. I think that could be a beautiful ceremony.
Yeah.
I think that ceremony needs to happen prenuptial before the wedding happens,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Mm.
it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Just that honoring, each other. You know, if you can, you need to be a whole person before you can be a partner.
Hmm. So true. It's so true. Even in
Mm.
any kind of relationship that you make a commitment to, whether it's work, job, um, sisterhood, motherhood,
Yeah.
all that. And before you enter into the relationship, you need to be solid.
And as a mother, for those who have children at home, it also means they're able to demonstrate how to be confident, how to be
Mhm.
themselves.
I agree. Because as a mother or a father, you're role models of how they're going to live. They don't listen to what you say. They watch what you do.
Right,
So
right, right,
and
exactly.
yeah, so you teach them. For a woman as a mother to teach her children how to love themselves is just a terrific, terrific gift. I mean,
Exactly.
same thing with fathers. And same thing. Respect who you are and what your dreams are and what your proclivity is, where your inner talents are. And that developing those inner talents may not match the talents your father thinks you should have or your mother thinks you should have. That's the should word. But honoring that person within, that little person within that's growing up. I don't feel that it's easy to do that unless you already let yourself and see your vulnerabilities and see all those things that you've been
Mhm.
uh, condemning yourself for, criticizing yourself for. As you put that aside and stop that behavior, as a person, your kids can now accept who they are. It's kind of wild how that happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
It's just don't be afraid. Let yourself come out of the shell.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And emerge into the wonderful person that you are. The
Yeah.
world's waiting for you.
Yeah, you're the piece of the puzzle, just the way you are.
Yeah,
That's how we're gonna um, have a joyful life, one person at a time.
exactly.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add about what's coming up
If anybody is interested right now, we're offering even day retreat for those who are local, and those who need to stay can stay too. Anybody who, would like to come, had the payment plans. We have some scholarships for people who might want to come but just can't afford it right now. That's a private conversation between me and them, and we will make it work.
beautiful. Thank you so much. Now, if you're listening to this on podcast or YouTube, please like and share and subscribe. But you can also look into the show notes where you can find Yvonne at her websites and at her email and her text message. She takes text, just text her and say, this is so and so, and I'm interested in such and such, and to get more information about it, about her. Her website is creatingthechange.net. And she has a second beautiful website, sacredriteofpassage.org.
Yeah.
So both of those have a lot of information about Yvonne, can give you a sense of more of what she does. Yvonne is open to any kind of questions. She's very available. And also, if you are listening to this and you're far, far away, contact her anyway. You work with people long distance as well. Is that true?
Yeah, exactly. I do. And don't be afraid to text me, because I welcome text messages. If you think of a question, send it off. That way you get an answer and you don't forget to ask.
Right, right.
Never feel bad about it.
And I'm going to say her text out loud. It's 978-235-1266. Text her at 978-235-1266. And be really nice to her, because she's my friend. No spams. But again, thank you, Yvonne. I wish you all the best with this upcoming retreat. And but I also feel like this was an important conversation. So if you can't go to her retreat and you really want to go deeper into this, the Sologamy, the power of self-love, just give her a shout and see what else is available for you to do the work. So
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. So for now, guys, stay safe. Remember that you need to love your soul. You need to love yourself. You need to walk into soul power, and that's self-love. And go forward and be brave, be courageous, and experiment with how is the best way to love yourself. And I thank you for listening to this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.
Take care. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Are you feeling a disconnect in your life? I see it's time to make a direct connection to find your soul's power and wisdom. Join Nancy Smith to learn tools and steps you can take to create calm and confidence in your life. Plug into your soul's power to be the powerful being you really are.